Hi, this is a vinyasa yoga class, pretty gentle, that I filmed in April 23 at Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. We'll begin in Sukhasana, legs crossed. That position doesn't work great for everybody, so if soles of the feet touching works better for you, please do that. We'll sit up nice and tall, right hand to our right knee, left hand to our left knee. Roll those shoulders up to your ears and draw your shoulder blades back down your back. We'll take 3 really deep breaths. Big inhale into the nose, big exhale out of the mouth. Big inhale into the nose, big exhale. One more time. Big inhale into the nose and the big exhale. Perhaps think of an intention for the week or the weekend. Or perhaps there are those we can name in our heart who would benefit from a positive intention sent their way. And we'll begin to draw big, slow circles with our torso. The slower and the bigger, the better. Definitely okay to roll outside of your seat, rolling on your sit bones. Whatever direction you're going, change direction and go the other way. Nice big, slow circles with our torso. Come back into stillness. Arms out wide, fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms out wide. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, open your arms, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center, arms up. Exhale, open your arms, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center, arms up. Exhale, open your arms, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center, arms up. Exhale, open your arms, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. When you can't go any farther, let your hands come down onto the mat in front of you. We're trying to keep our back straight as we hinge at the hips. Crawl your fingers forward, deepening that stretch. Crawl your fingers to the left. Crawl your fingers back to center. Crawl your fingers to the right. Crawl your fingers back to center. Crawl your fingers back to a seated upright position. Let's cross our hands. Left hand, right knee. Right hand, left knee. We'll do a version of the same thing. With our breath, we'll hinge forward. Inhale, exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, exhale. Maybe you have just a little bit more. And then come back up to that seated position. Okay. Right hand, left knee. Left hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Take that gaze over your right shoulder. We'll do this with our breath. So we'll inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, we increase that twist. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, increase that twist. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, increase that twist. Back to center, arms up. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind. Sit up nice and tall. Take that gaze over your left shoulder. Same thing. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, increase that twist. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, increase that twist. One more time. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Back to center, both arms up. We'll go back the other way. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind. Gaze over that left shoulder. Back to center, arms up. Right hand, left knee. Sit up nice and tall. Gaze over that right shoulder. Back to center, both arms overhead. Hinge forward at the hips again. Let those hands come down to the ground. Crawl those fingers straight out. Deepening that twist. Crawl those fingers back to you. Sit up nice and tall. Okay, let's take our arms out wide again. Right hand down to the mat. Left hand up and over. Big side body stretch. Back the other way. Right hand up and over. Cartwheel back over. One more time, both sides. Left hand up and over. Cartwheel to the other side. Right hand up and over. Back to center, both arms overhead. Hands to heart center. Let's take those legs out straight. Legs are straight, legs are long, legs are together. Arms up high overhead. Hinge forward at the hips. Let your hands come down to your legs. Right hand, right leg, left hand, left leg. Now this is important. We're trying to pull our chest to our feet. We're not trying to reach over and grab our feet. We're trying to keep our back straight, pull our chest towards our feet. You also tilt those toes up or towards you so you're reaching with your heels. Now let's spread those legs wide. Legs are still straight, the legs are wide. Arms up high overhead. Hinge to the right. Both hands down to that right leg. Again, we're pulling our chest towards our right foot. Keep your right hand there. Lift your left hand to the sky. Bring everything towards that right foot, keeping that left hand high. Back to center, both arms overhead. Hinge your torso towards your left foot. Both hands come down to that left leg. Keep your left hand there. Reach your right hand up towards the sky and bring everything towards that left foot, keeping that left hand high. Back to center, both arms overhead, hands to heart center. All right, let's transition over to our hands and knees. And we'll start in tabletop position. Tabletop position is our knees are hip width apart, our hands are shoulder width apart. Your feet, your toes can be tucked or flat on the mat. Back is straight, core engaged. We'll do several rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, face extended long. Exhale, round your back, chin to chest. Inhale, face extended long, tailbone tucked. Exhale, round your back, chin to chest. Inhale, face extended long, tailbone tucked. Exhale, round your back, chin to chest. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Back to a neutral tabletop position. Take that right leg, extend it long behind you, toes on the mat. We'll push away with our heel, stretching that calf muscle. Gently pushing back on that heel. Also, we're trying to get into each toe. So turn your ankle, if you need to flex each individual toe. Lift that right leg up behind you, left hand forward, bird dog pose. Right foot back, left hand forward, big stretch. Back to tabletop position. Let's take a child's pose. Let those heels come back towards your feet. This is a resting child's pose. Resting child's pose, back relaxed, shoulders relaxed, arms heavy, head heavy. Child's pose, as you've undoubtedly heard in yoga class, always an appropriate pose to take. We'll come back up to tabletop position. Extend that left leg long behind you, toes on the ground. Gently push away with your heel, stretching that calf muscle. Again, we're trying to get each individual toe. So turn your ankle if you need to flex those smaller toes. Stretching that left calf muscle. Lift that left foot up. Lift that right hand forward. Big stretch. Left foot back, right hand forward. Bird dog pose. Big stretch. Back to tabletop position. And we'll take another child's pose. Hips back towards your heels. Again, a resting child's pose. Come back up to tabletop position. Look down at your knees. Spread your knees wider than your hips. Look down at your hands. Move your hands forward about one hand length on the mat. You're still on your hands and knees. You're more angular. Now push those hips back towards your heels again. This is an active child's pose. It's called active because those shoulders are engaged, because our arms are straight. We'll lower our head in between our arms as much as we can. We'll let our hips be as heavy as possible as we sink to the ground. And we'll make this active. We'll pull our weight all the way through, belly, chest, chin on the mat. Lift your chest and your shoulders. Lower your chest and your shoulders. Roll it all the way back to that active child's pose. Do that a couple more times. Pull your weight all the way through, belly, chest, chin on the mat. Push away with your hands, lift your chest and your shoulders. Lower your chest and your shoulders. Roll it all the way back to that active child's pose. And again, pull it all the way through, belly, chest, chin on the mat. Lift your chest and your shoulders, lower your chest and your shoulders, roll it all the way back to that active child's pose. Come back in to a tabletop position, knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. We'll thread the needle. Plant your left hand, raise your right hand to the sky. Bring that right hand under your chest and across to the left, right shoulder coming down to the mat. We'll do this in a flow. So open it up, right hand to the sky. Right hand under your chest and across to the left. Open it up, right hand to the sky. Right hand under your chest and across to the left. And open it up, right hand to the sky. And right hand under and across to the left. Take a couple breaths here. Come back to tabletop position. Okay, other side. Plant that right hand, left hand to the sky. Left hand under your chest and across to the right. Left shoulder comes down to the mat. And open it up. Left hand to the sky. And left hand under and across to the right. And open it up. Left hand to the sky. Left hand under and across to the right. Take a breath or two. Come back to tabletop position. Let that right leg go long behind you again, then swing that right leg out to the right, stand up on your left knee. Right hand, right thigh, left hand to the sky, reach over. This is gate pose. Get that nice side body stretch. Come back to center, bend that right knee, point those right toes out to the side. This is a hip stretch. We're going to push an imaginary button out there to the right. I like to put my hands on my hips, keep my back straight, And sink those hips. Lean in, push that button with your right knee. And sink those hips. Lean in and push that button. And lean in and push that button. Come back to tabletop position. Take that left leg long behind you. And then swing that left leg out to the side. Stand up on your right knee. Left hand, left thigh. Right hand to the sky. And lean over. Get that nice right side body stretch. Come back to neutral. Bend that left knee. Point those left toes out to the side. We'll put our hands on our hips to keep our spine straight, and we'll lean in and push that imaginary button with our left knee. Sink those hips. Push the button. And back up. Lean in and push the button. And back up. Lean in and push the button. And back up. And back down to tabletop position. All right, we're going to keep that right knee bent, lift that right foot up to the sky as high as you can. Try to keep those arms straight. Right knee back down. And lift that right foot up to the sky. And right knee back down. And lift that right foot up to the sky. And right knee back down. And we'll let those hips come back to our heels for another child's pose. Come back up to tabletop position, left side. Left knee stays bent, lift that left foot up to the sky. Try to keep your arms straight. Very easy to collapse in your arms here. Left knee back down. Left foot back up to the sky. Left knee back down. And one more time, left foot up to the sky. And left knee back down to the mat. Okay, we're going to do one more little hip stretch here. This is fire hydrant. Reach that left knee straight out to the side and then draw big, slow circles with that left knee. Big and slow circles. Whatever direction you were going, change direction. And we'll do the other side. Reach that right knee straight out to the side and draw those big, slow circles with that right knee. Big and slow. Whatever direction you were going, change direction. Draw those big, slow circles the other way. And we'll come back into tabletop position. Getting ready to transition. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Okay, downward facing dog. Your goal is your hips are as high as possible. Your head is as low as possible. Push away with those hands and lower that head. Bend your knees if you need to a little bit, like I am, to feel yourself pushing those hips up to the sky. And you can walk your dog. Bend one knee and bend the other knee. That allows you also to straighten that opposite leg. And we'll inhale, and as we exhale, we'll walk up to the top of the mat. Once we get there, we'll come into a forward fold. Forward fold. Like downward facing dog and child's pose, also an inversion. Head is heavy, shoulders are relaxed, arms are relaxed, grab opposite elbows, maybe rock from side to side, maybe straighten one knee and then straighten the other. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. And then as slowly as you would like, come all the way up to a standing position. I'm going to get a drink of water, as you can see. Hot day down there at Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. And we will come into mountain pose. Our feet are hip width apart. We'll shake those arms out. Just make sure we're nice and loose. And then we'll do empty coat sleeves. Let those arms be heavy. Twist from side to side. Let those arms be completely heavy. The motion of the twist being the only movement that comes into those arms. All right, let's come back into our mountain pose. Again, our feet are hip width apart. Our quadriceps are engaged by drawing our kneecaps up to our hips. We'll roll those shoulders and shoulder blades back down our back like we did before. We'll externally rotate our arms so the inside of our elbow is facing the front of the mat. Mountain pose, so called because you're standing on top of a mountain or perhaps a beach. Wind is blowing 40 miles an hour, and you've got to hold your position. Back is straight, core is engaged. It's a very strong position. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Right hand, grab your left wrist, bend to the right. Back to center, switch hands, bend to the left. Back to center, goal post your arms, gaze and face to the sky. Arms back high overhead, hands to heart center, back to your mountain pose. Let's do that with our breath. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, goal, push your arms, gaze and face to the sky. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to mountain pose. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, goal, post your arms, gaze and face to the sky. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to mountain pose. Okay, we're going to do several rounds of a half sun salutation. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Back to your mountain pose. Okay, we'll do another version of this. Come to the top of your mat. Make sure you're in that mountain pose. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold, plank your hands, step your feet back to a high plank. Okay, a high plank. Back is straight, core is engaged. We're pushing back with those heels on those flexed toes that we did earlier, and we'll lower all the way down, knees, chest, chin. Push away with your hands, lift your chest and your shoulders. Lower your chest and your shoulders. Tuck your toes, roll it all the way back to that downward facing dog. Inhale, Exhale, hop, skip, jump, walk, crawl to the top of the mat. We're in a forward fold. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Back to mountain pose. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step your feet back to that high plank. A knee down is always appropriate here. Lower down to the mat, lift your chest and your shoulders, upward facing dog. Back down, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, float, walk, skip, crawl to the top of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to mountain pose. One more time. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold, plant those hands, step that feet back to that high plank. Inhale, exhale all the way down. Lift your chest and your shoulders. Lower your chest and your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Roll it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. As we exhale, we'll make our way to the top of the mat, meeting in that forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Back to your mountain pose. Another drink of water as some surfers continue to walk by here. Beautiful day, as you can see. And we're going to do several versions of a half sun salutation B. So put yourself back in that mountain pose. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips. Chair pose. Chair pose, weight is a little bit back on your heels. Keep our back straight, tilting a little bit forward with the hips, quadriceps super engaged. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold, back to chair, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All the way up. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Back to mountain pose. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips, chair pose. Throw your hands behind you, lower your chest down towards your knees, ski jumping. Unwind that, back to chair. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back to chair pose. Hands behind your back, chest to your knees, ski jumper. Inhale, unwind that back to chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips, chair pose. Hands to heart center. Bring your right elbow down to your left knee. Look up at that right elbow. Unwind that back to chair pose. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold, back to chair. Inhale, chair pose. Hands to heart center. Left elbow down to your right knee. Look up at that opposite elbow. Unwind that back to chair pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's come back up to the top of the mat. Make sure that we are in that mountain pose. Step that right foot way back as far as you can. Left knee is bent. Left knee over left ankle. Right foot is back as far as you can. All 10 toes facing the front. Arms up, high overhead. High lunge, crescent lunge. Okay, see if we can more deeply bend that left knee. Everything else is up and back. Super strong. Both hands down to the mat. Lower that right knee down to the mat. Hands on either side of that left foot. This is a very nice sequence to do if any of us sit a lot. More deeply bend that left knee, sinking into those hips. Walk those hands back, straighten that left leg, fold over that left leg, runner's lunge. And again, walk those hands forward, more deeply bend that left knee. And walk those hands back, straighten that left leg, runner's lunge. Walk those hands back to either side of that left knee. Stand up on that right knee. Football coach, arms overhead, low lunge. Goal post your arms. Again, more deeply bend that left knee. Everything else is going up and back. Arms back high overhead, hands to heart center. We'll bring our right knee to the outside of that, right elbow to the outside of that left knee for a twist. Come back to center, arms up high overhead, hands back down to either side of that left foot. Plant your right hand, raise your left hand. Left hand back down. Plant your left hand, raise your right hand. Right hand back down. Tuck your right toes, get your right knee off the mat. You're a runner at the starting line. Stand up. Arms overhead, high lunge again. Open your arms, twist to the right, try to keep that left knee stationary. Back to center, arms overhead. Open your arms, twist to the left. Back to center, arms overhead, high lunge. Step that right foot up to meet the left, hands to heart center. Back to mountain pose. Let's do the other side. Step that left foot way back. Bend that right knee. Arms up high overhead, crescent lunge, high lunge. Okay, once again, we're going to see if we can more deeply bend that right knee. Shift your weight forward a little bit. Everything else is up and back. Hands back down to either side of that right foot, left knee to the mat. Okay, more deeply bend your right knee, sinking into those hips. Walk your hands back, straighten that right leg, halfway split, runner's lunge. And again, walk those hands forward, more deeply bend that right knee. And walk those hands back, straighten that right leg, runner's lunge. Hands on either side of that right foot, stand up on your left knee, football coach, arms overhead, low lunge. Goal post your arms. Right knee shifts forward a little bit more, everything else is back. Hands up high overhead, hands to heart center. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee for a twist. Untwist that, arms overhead. Hands down to either side of that right foot. Plant your right hand, raise your left hand. Left hand back down. Plant your left hand, raise your right hand. Right hand back down. Tuck your left toes, get your left knee off the mat. You're a runner at the starting line. Stand up. Tough transition here, requires some balance. Arms overhead. High lunge. Open your arms. Twist to the right. Back to center, arms overhead. Open your arms. Twist to the left. Arms back high overhead. Step your left foot up to meet the right. Hands to heart center. Back to your mountain pose. Step that right foot back again. Hands behind your back, and we'll fold over that left knee, humble warrior. Lift those hands up behind your back as much as you can. Different rotation of your shoulder joint. Now step your right foot forward just a little bit. So it's a step. You can see that I got both feet flat on the mat, both knees straight. Hands behind your back, fingertips interlaced. We'll fold over that left knee again, pyramid pose. Stand back up out of that, come back to the top of the mat. Step that left foot way back, bend your right knee. Hands behind your back, interlace your fingers if you can. Fold over that right knee. Humble warrior, lifting those hands up as high behind us as we can. Step that left foot up just a little bit. So again, both legs straight, both feet flat, hands behind your back, fold over that straight right leg, pyramid pose. And stand back up out of that, walk back up to the top of the mat. Okay, we'll step that left foot way back again, turn both feet to the side of the mat. We are wide-legged. Hands on your hips. Hinge forward at the hips. When you can't go any further, release your hands down under your gaze. Great place for a block if you have one, and if you need to bring the floor closer to you. Plant that right hand, raise that left hand. Plant that left hand, raise that right hand. Both hands under your gaze. Hands on your hips, bend your knees to protect your back. Come back up to a standing position. Bring those feet in so they are just wider than your hips. Lift your toes, point your toes out to either side. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, bend your knees. Goal post your arms. Goddess pose. Good place to do a little dance here. Drop your hips. Inhale, straighten it up. Hands overhead. Exhale, back to goddess. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, back to goddess. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, back down to goddess. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, back to goddess. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bring those feet back to mountain pose, hip width apart. And we're going to do a couple balance poses, super important for us. So we'll start by planting our right foot, bend your left knee, bring your left knee to your left hand. This is good enough if you need to hold something or fall in and out of that. That's perfectly okay. But balance is super important. Okay, weight in our left foot, bend your right knee, bring your right knee to your right hand. And see if you can open that right knee out to the side. And bring that right knee back into the center and back down. All right, we'll do tree pose. Weight in our right foot. Kickstand your left ankle, left foot against the inside of your right leg. And that's enough. Or we'll lift that left foot up to the inside of your right leg, anywhere other than your knee. Several options for your hands. You could do heart center, or perhaps grow your tree, arms overhead. Let's do the other side. Weight in your left foot. Kickstand your right foot against the inside of your left leg, or bring that up your left leg anywhere but your knee, and perhaps hands at heart center, or grow your tree. Again, balance is just so important to us, especially as we age. All right, we'll come back up to the top of the mat. And we'll open our toes out to either side like we just did. Inhale, arms up high overhead. As we exhale, bring your hands to heart center, bend your knees, sink your hips, yogi squat, malasana. When you've gotten as low as your body will allow you to go, pause, take a few breaths here, and then come back down onto the mat in a seated position. Okay, both legs straight, both legs together. Inhale, arms up high overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, let your hands come down to either leg. Right hand, right leg, left hand, left leg. Again, we'll pull our chest towards our feet. We're not leaning over to make sure we grab our feet. We're pulling our chest to our feet. All right, sit back up out of that. Right leg straight, bend your left knee. Bring your left foot to the inside of your right leg. Hinge towards that right foot, both hands down to that right leg. As a seated figure 4 stretch. Come up out of that, we'll go the other way. Extend your left leg long, bend your right knee, bring your right foot to the inside of that left leg, hinge, rotate your body towards your left foot, hands down to that left leg. Pulling your chest towards that left foot. Come up out of that, both legs long on the mat, and let's lie down. We're in a little mini shavasana here. Take a couple of breaths. Maybe a quick body scan, how your body feels after about 40 minutes of movement. Bend both knees, feet flat on the mat. Send your arms wide. Right arm out to the right, left arm out to the left. Let those knees fall to the right. We'll take a couple breaths here. Make sure those legs are as heavy as your body can allow them to be. See if you can release any tension in those legs. Just let them be flopped over to the right. Knees back to center. Let those knees fall to the left. Same thing. When arms are outstretched, we try to keep our shoulders on the mat. Try to let your legs be completely heavy. And of course, keep breathing. Back to center, both feet flat on the mat. Both legs long. Arms overhead, nice big stretch. I like to call this a morning stretch. Big stretch. Reach more with your left hand, reach more with your right hand. Everything's connected. Feel your legs possibly move as you do that. Nice big stretch. And we'll bring our knees to our chest. Right hand, right knee, left hand, left knee. Lift your head up towards your knees. Rock from side to side, massaging that lower back. Release those legs long, lie back down on the mat. Look at the horses going by as we do this. Okay, bend your right knee, bring your right knee to bring your right knee to your left hand, right hand out to the side. Use your left hand to draw your right knee across to the left. Just another version of the twist. Again, that right arm is out there to keep your right shoulder on the mat, so we don't want to twist beyond that. We'll untwist that, send that right leg long. Bend your left knee, bring your left knee to your right hand, send your left hand out to the side. And use that right hand to draw that left knee across to the right. Again, left arm is out to the left to keep that left shoulder on the mat. Back to center. Send that left leg long. Bend both knees, feet flat on the mat. Right ankle to your left knee. Reach through, grab the back of your left thigh, and pull those legs towards you. This is a reclined figure four with a thread the needle. Really good hip opener here. Left foot back down, right foot back down. Left ankle to your right knee. We'll reach through, grab the back of our right thigh, and draw those legs towards us. Again, thread the needle from a reclined figure four. Right foot back down, left foot back down. Arms by either side. Lift those hips. Bridge pose. Quadriceps engaged. Push those hips as high as you can. Shoulder blades flat on the mat. Hips back down to the mat. And lift those hips again. Bridge pose. Quadriceps super engaged. Hips back down. Bring your knees to your chest, but don't grab your knees. Let your feet be suspended. Lift those feet straight up overhead, legs up the wall. This is a wonderful pose to do actually at the wall. Feel your spine flat on the mat. Both feet back flat on the mat, arms extended wide. Let those knees fall to the right again. Back to center. Let those knees fall to the left again. Back to center. Both feet flat on the mat. Send your legs long. Arms by either side. And we will transition to Shavasana. Okay, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, take whatever additional movement might feel good for you. Eventually rolling over onto one side, and eventually back up to a seated position. Arms out wide, inhale, arms up high overhead, hands to heart center. We'll leave a little space between our palms to symbolize holding our heart. Bow our head over our hands to symbolize service to our hearts. Thank you so much for doing yoga on the beach with me. Hope you enjoyed the view. Hope you enjoyed the class. The light which burns inside of me honors the light which burns inside each of you. Namaste.